On today's episode, pretty strong win for the Denver Nuggets. Did a really nice job against the Memphis Grizzlies in the clutch. Jamal Murray shows up big. Nikola Jokic makes flashy plays. Peyton Watson's going off. We're going to talk about it next here on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. Thanks for tuning into this episode, being an everydayer here at Locked On Nuggets. My name is Ryan Blackburn, host of Locked On here, also over at Mile High Sports and the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. Solo tonight. Matt Moore is getting the night off. He's going to give me the night off tomorrow. So you'll get solo Matt and his thoughts on this game as well. But was a fun one, was a great one for the Nuggets to get a good win over the Memphis Grizzlies. Final score 125-115. Did a lot of great things in this one and was really impressed with the way the Nuggets handled themselves. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Okay, let's go through this one. Let's talk about what the Nuggets were able to accomplish here. Started off a little bit slow, especially offensively. They brought out the same starting five that they used in the previous game. Spencer Jones only played 15 minutes tonight, was okay, grabbed a whole bunch of offensive rebounds, did some hustle things, but it didn't really work from a plus-minus standpoint. The Nuggets just didn't find the right rhythms. For whatever reason, that starting group didn't defend as well as other groups. That whenever they tried to go zone, they just didn't really do it well. Whenever they tried to go man, they just gave up some open shots. It was the wrong mix, and that doesn't mean it can't be the right mix in the future, but in this game, it didn't work as well. And Denver got off to a slow start. They were down initially, but then the Memphis Grizzlies just couldn't shoot, man. They just couldn't shoot for a long time in this game. Got into a better rhythm as the game went on, the Memphis Grizzlies did, but it allowed the Nuggets to basically stay ahead in the entire game. An interesting stat for you. Denver tied or won in every single quarter tonight, and their pacing throughout was pretty good. Yes, the Memphis Grizzlies had some runs, and especially second, third, and fourth quarter where they scored 31, 31, and 30 points, but the Nuggets to counter scored 35, 31, and 32 points. Always kept them at arm's length, never really felt like the Nuggets were in that much danger in this particular game, and it really helps when you've got Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Those guys were great. There are a lot of different ways that I feel like I could go tonight with the way that those guys were, but I want to start with Murray. 29 points in this game, 11 of 21 from the field in 37 minutes, 6 of 9 from three, a nice shooting night for Jamal, 8 assists, 1 turnover, the last turnover that he had, just kind of like a ball that I think he lost out of bounds. It was one where probably didn't need to happen as a turnover, but when you're playing that well and when you're doing great things on both ends of the floor, although Murray's defense tonight was lesser than it has been, I'll say. He's been pretty good on that end for the most part. But tonight's the offense and the process and the ability to rise to the occasion against not the best defense in the world from Memphis, to be clear, but they're so focused on Jokic. They're so focused on Denver's other threats that Jamal just had open fire. Open threes, and did a really nice job creating a lot of those look for himself. But even when they weren't open, when they were contested, when they were late shot clock shots, playing with confidence, doing the things that he needs to do as a leader for this Nuggets team. And I was just really impressed with the way that he handled himself, the way that he handled everything that he's supposed to do as the second option on this Nuggets team. The ball's in his hands a lot, and some folks get a little bit tired, get a little bit frustrated with how often he dribbles, how often he controls the ball. But in nights like tonight, where you've got Peyton Watson in the corner or the short corner, you've got Spencer Jones starting, you've got Cam Johnson who can handle, but was certainly better off in a complementary role. And then you've got Jokic. You're going to want Murray to dribble. You're going to want him to handle the ball, and he handled it beautifully tonight. Just did a really, really nice job of always putting pressure on Memphis. He dribbled, he got into the teeth of the defense, often found open three-point shooters and cutters as a result, and just a really great performance once again for Jamal Murray, who's making a candidacy for the All-Star game reasonably well known. Whether he makes it or not, I don't know. There's a lot of great guards. There's a lot of great international players in the NBA. It will be difficult for Jamal to fully assert himself in that conversation. But what he's done so far, I think, has been really great. And yeah, I think Big Honey says it here. Some people just love nitpicking Jamal's game. 100%. Like when you watch Jokic on a consistent basis and he's perfect as often as he is, you often then look at Jamal, who is like normal, really good to great. And it can sometimes feel like, oh, well, could have passed to Jokic, could have passed to somebody else. Like, how did he possibly make that wrong decision? But like between the Houston win and this win, you see the cerebral nature and you see the ability for him to rise to the occasion very consistently, and just making clutch plays was really nice to see. Jokic, by comparison, a lower volume night for him, did a really nice job, I thought, of kind of setting the table for everybody else, and the numbers bear it out. Only 9 shots for Nikola Jokic, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, some clutch, like late shot clock and also late game clock threes at the end of the third quarter. 17 points, and none bigger, I think, than the 3 that he hit right at the end of the third quarter that gave Denver just a little bit of extra breathing room, and it tied up the quarter for the Nuggets and Grizzlies at that point. All the work that it felt like the Grizzlies had done to get it a little bit closer, nullified at that point by an incredible Jokic shot. Catches the ball at half court, takes one step inside the half court line, shoots a jumper. Like, who does that? Like, who just shoots a normal jumper from one step inside of midcourt? Like, that is insane. The strength that it takes to be able to do that is unbelievable. And then the pass that Jokic threw, obscene behind the back pass, and just like a crazy one that's really sealed the game in the clutch. Murray gets the ball to Jokic in a switch situation. He drives. Peyton Watson cuts under the baseline to the near side, and Jokic throws a wraparound behind the back pass with his left hand on the money. Peyton lays it up, does a fantastic job. Like, what more can you ask for in that case? What more can you ask for from your 2 best players? Could Jokic have shot a little bit more? Yeah. I thought he got a little bit sloppy at various points, although somehow he only finished with 3 turnovers. It just felt like they all happened right at the same time. So maybe there's something to that. But it felt like between him and between Murray, Denver was just always in control. They always had complete control of this game. And Memphis, obviously, they don't have John Morant, doing a lot of talking on the bench. And Zach Edey went out during this game. Just a tough place for the Memphis Grizzlies to be. But the Nuggets were the better team tonight, and it clearly showed. Just a really, really impressive way for them to make it happen. Death Reaper says, Ryan, I still blame you and Matt for the Kings loss. The jinx doesn't work. That's the thing about the jinx, man. It's fickle. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it backfires completely in your face, and you know how it's going to go. Also, Sam, yes, that is a Claire Obscure drawing behind me. It's pretty sick. That is Amisa. Oh, gosh, what is her name? That's shameful at this point. It's been a while since I've played, but just beautiful game, and thought the artwork was cool. All right, but really impressive night from Murray and Jokic. They set the tone for the Nuggets, always gave them a chance to win, and then guys like Peyton Watson and Cam Johnson really stepped up to the table. In that case, did a really nice job of capitalizing on the attention that Jokic and Murray got. Going to talk about those guys next here on Locked On Nuggets. Nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of the money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again, channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options and futures and crypto, all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/more money. Again, that's robinhood.com/more money. More money, more your move. We're also brought to you today by DripDrop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I have been using DripDrop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. DripDrop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. It tastes amazing, kind of surprising because you never know what you're going to get with something that's going to be healthy for you, something that's going to be good for you. But my go-to flavor is the orange, and it's become my secret weapon for staying sharp and energized through long days. Hydration has become non-negotiable for me. DripDrop helps me feel sharper, calmer, and honestly just better. Right now, DripDrop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard, and keep your body and mind performing at their best with DripDrop. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. All right, we are back. Locked On Nuggets. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Would really, really appreciate it. We are trying to get to 15,000 subscribers on this channel, doing some great things with myself, Swipa, and Matt. Got some fun things coming in just a little bit that should be, I think, pretty interesting to everybody here. Okay. Peyton Watson, 27 points. It has become notable to me that Peyton Watson is very willing to shoot. And I know that a lot of people might think about that a little bit differently than maybe I do. But one of the problems I think that the Nuggets have had, and certainly had at times with Christian Braun in the starting lineup, is that while he does everything that you want, while he is smart, while he defers to Nikola Jokic, while he's always willing to get out of the way, be unselfish, and do those things, Peyton Watson, for all the other talents that he has, is a willing shooter who believes in who he is. And tonight, you couldn't be you're very excited for the way that he kind of plays like that, because though he started off slow, and I think he missed his first 3 threes, got a little bit uncomfortable, but then finally hit one to settle down, got some cuts, did a lot of great things, moving off ball along with Jokic, and they've developed some really good chemistry as well. I think Peyton Watson is starting to figure out exactly where he can cut, how he can screen, how he can move along the baseline that navigates around what Jokic does. And then Jokic is just going to benefit from that tremendously, because Watson is just such a big athletic target in the middle of the floor when he does cut. But it is the threes. It's the willingness to be on the perimeter, to take the shots that the team generates. And sometimes you need somebody who's just willing to shoot. And you guys know me, I've been very positive on Christian Braun. I think that he's a very good player and a very strong addition to the Nuggets starting lineup. But this is one weakness that I have talked about with Braun. One weakness that I've talked about with Christian that I do think he needs to continue to improve upon. He wants to be himself. He wants to, he's going to play his way. But the Nuggets might be better off at times with a shooting guard who shoots. And Peyton Watson has been more than willing to do that. Now, to be fair, he did play down a position a couple of times. He played the small forward at times, played power forward at times. Tim Hardaway Jr. closed. That definitely does help. It changes the positioning of where he is supposed to be at where Hardaway is more of a perimeter shooter. Cam Johnson's a perimeter shooter. Watson is the roamer on the baseline, somebody who's in the dunker spot a lot. But the versatility for him, if he can do both, is a really good thing. And he continues to shoot. 22 shots is a lot. I know there are a lot of people that were like, hey, maybe you should probably shoot a little bit less. Take them, man. If they're open, then you got to take them. And that's what's going to help Jokic and Murray the most. And you're going to lose at times if you don't shoot it as well. But if you can find that ceiling and find another guy who is willing and capable of hitting open shots, that's so huge. That is so huge for this Nuggets team. So credit to Peyton for stepping up. He has confidence in himself. John Morant talking to him on the baseline, trying to get under his skin a little bit after he had missed a couple threes in a row. Then Watson hits multiple threes in a row in front of the Memphis bench. That to me is not a surprise. Cam Johnson also, not to be outdone, only 10 shots for Cam Johnson, but 18 points for him, along with 6 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. Did have some turnovers, did have a couple of finishes around the rim that were pretty shaky. And it's the process, right? Like, he's not a perfect player. He's not going to make every shot. He's not going to make every play. There will be times where he's better. But I mean, 18 points on 6 of 10 from the field and 3 of 4 from 3. You take that every time. Like, he was their 4th best player tonight. Peyton Watson was slightly better, but like Cam Johnson doing some really good things and stepping up in a time where the Nuggets absolutely need him to be great. Like, Aaron Gordon's out. Christian Brown is out. It applies more pressure to Jokic and Murray to be great. They're stepping up, so you guys step up too. It's just part of the process. And I love the quick trigger that Cam Johnson is now showing. There's some awkward threes, I'll say. Like, the one that he missed was a little awkward for sure. But like, hey, as long as you're getting the defense to have to overcommit to you and they don't know whether you're going to shoot it or not, then they're probably going to guard you out there. And so him keeping them on their toes, him keeping everybody on their toes, it's one of the reasons why Tim Hardaway, despite the fact that he hasn't shot the ball that well over the course of these last couple weeks, like, they're still guarding him really closely. So because they know that he's going to rise up. So if Cam Johnson continues to drag the defense away to him, then they're looking at him and not looking at Jokic. They're looking at him and not looking at Murray. Peyton Watson's got unlimited cutting lanes underneath as a result. That is the benefit of staying aggressive, of being willing to shoot. And hey, you make 3 out of 4, they're going to guard you that closely too. So really good stuff from Cam Johnson. As I mentioned, Spencer Jones didn't play his best game. He did hustle, did have some nice plays, especially at the beginning of the first and third quarter, I thought. But overall, just like, Denver didn't need to go that way. They played Tim Hardaway Jr. for 27 minutes off the bench. He closed tonight. They also played Bruce Brown pretty heavy minutes. He had 28, 9 points for him. Each of those guys were plus 15. And I thought they both did good things in the roles that they were supposed to have. Bruce is still not super efficient right now. The floater and the driving to the rim, like, he's not finishing at a high level. And there is something to be said. Like, I had criticisms of him during the championship run and thought that he could be better. And then he was better in the playoffs. Like, regular season Bruce was different from playoff Bruce. And with the Nuggets and all the threats that they have, if Bruce is just going to like hang around in the not just the dunker, but like one of the plays that he made, Jokic did a really nice job of setting the table. Bruce acted like he was going to set a screen and slipped. And like, Jokic knew exactly what he was going to do. Hit him for a very easy layup. Those are the kinds of plays that Bruce is going to get. And because he is not the threat that the other guys are, especially from a shooting perspective, but every 3 that he hits is a benefit. Every opportunity that he gets to kind of change the game is really big. Plus 15, it's really hard to argue with. Jonas Valanciunas made some plays. Zeke Naji made some plays. 2 of 3 from 3 for Zeke Naji, along with 6 rebounds. He stepped up as the 8th or 9th man tonight, and that's all you can really ask for. So when David Adelman basically said after the last loss, he cannot play an 8.5-man rotation, that is like an important aspect. Zeke Naji was the one to fill in tonight. And anytime you can get 15 minutes from Zeke Naji and he's a +5, that's a big deal. Like, there are some difference, like things that he could do. He had a couple turnovers. One of them was a screening foul that I think was BS, but like overall, just that's what you want. You can't ask for that much more than that. There will be times where he fails. There will be times where he's a little bit worse, but like if it's 6 points and 6 rebounds in 15 minutes and 2 made threes, pretty good. The Nuggets as a team shot 22 of 43 tonight from 3. That's 51%. That was a really great percentage. And their offense is just clicking, man. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. They're going to find combinations. They're going to find good options to succeed from a night-to-night basis. And it just always feels like there is something around the corner for them that even if one lineup at one point doesn't work, they can always rattle off a 10-2 run because of how absolutely en fuego they are on most of these nights. So we'll see if they could keep it up. But for now, let's take a break. When we come back, we are going to discuss some important bench stats that I pulled from something earlier today. And then we will discuss where the Nuggets go from here with their 3-day break. We'll be back here on Locked On Nuggets. All right. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I know we've got a lot of out-of-state Nuggets fans. We've got a lot of international Nuggets fans as well. So sorry for you guys. I wish Denver would be able to travel during the regular season to come to your cities. But if you're out of state, like Denver's won their last 6 road games in a row. So they're a pretty great opportunity here to go see them on the road. I love that with Game Time, what you see is what you pay. No hidden fees at checkout. And if you're in an arena that you're not necessarily familiar with, use their in-app seat view feature. That will give you the exact view of what your seat is going to look like. It is an absolute game changer. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Final segment, Locked On Nuggets. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning into the show. Once again, Matt Moore is off tonight. He will be back tomorrow. I will be off tomorrow night. Going to host some folks and have a good time and take a load off heading into this Thanksgiving break, which I think a lot of Nuggets fans and the Nuggets themselves definitely need. When you lose a couple of starters, it definitely is just one of those underrated things that, okay, the pressure will continue to mount. There are a couple of times, though, that if you can get to that break point, everybody gets to take a step back. Everybody gets to relax. For those that don't celebrate Thanksgiving, it's just a couple of nice days off. For those that do, it's a good time to be with family. I'll be looking forward to it myself. I want to share a couple of bench stats that I was able to pull for an article that I did on milehighsports.com that you should definitely go check out. Article title was How Denver Nuggets Can Survive Without Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun. Basically, like the premise that I had was that 5 weeks from now is about the time where I would guess that Braun and Gordon are inching to get back. Like, we'll see whether they actually get back around there, but that's about December 29th against the Miami Heat. We talked about this last night with Matt. So it's about 15, 16, 17 games that they're going to be missing for that case. And with that, like, it's important to look at the numbers for the Nuggets about what happens when Jokic is on and off, but also when Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun are not on the floor, because they are integral pieces to what the Nuggets do. And these numbers will definitely have changed with the game tonight. But before tonight's game, according to Cleaning the Glass, the Nuggets have a point differential of minus 12.4 per 100 possessions in the 600 possessions they've played without either Aaron Gordon or Christian Braun. That included Nikola Jokic, which is wild. Like, you ever hear of a lineup that includes Jokic for a prolonged period of time? That is a minus 12.4. Now, If you just isolate the Jokic minutes only, it's not that bad. Minus 3.4 net rating in the Jokic minutes this year without Gordon and Christian Braun. And as we saw in a game like tonight, that can continue to go up. I expect that to be positive by the time Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun are getting back. I do think that the Nuggets are still going to be able to win. But the real question was, if that was minus 3.4 and the other number was minus 12.4, what is going on when Jokic and Gordon and Brown are off the floor? And that was this case. Minus 23.8 net rating in 265 possessions. That basically means that for every 100 minutes the Nuggets are playing, they're losing by about 25 or maybe even more than that. Like, ridiculous. Ridiculous numbers, and something that the Nuggets had to figure out. It's not on Murray either, because I looked at those numbers, and as we've talked about, Murray's been really good. But those numbers include the fact that Murray has been averaging 35 points and 10 assists per 100 possessions in the minutes without Nikola Jokic. You ask, is his efficiency down? No, it's a 64.7% true shooting. Is the turnovers up? No, it's about 3. 3 turnovers per 100 possessions compared to 10 assists. It's not on Murray. There's some other things that are going on with that Nuggets group. I think that Bruce Brown definitely needs to step up. I think that Tim Hardaway Jr. shooting has definitely decreased and got to get back to a place where he's shooting a little bit more efficiently. Peyton Watson, before he was in the starting lineup, really struggled as a bench player. The difference between Peyton Watson as a starter and as a bench player is very different. Sammy says here, I'm really liking the Cam bench stagger minutes. I totally agree. It just alleviates some pressure. And it's not like Cam's wild in those minutes. It's just that it gives them another option, a pressure release valve, if you will. Somebody who can shoot quickly, somebody who can drive, somebody who can pass, somebody who's smart and just moves the ball and does the right things and makes sure that whatever happens, it's the right play to make. And so that's what Cam Johnson represents. And so it's why, I think that there are some things that Denver did, and especially tonight, Cam Johnson and Jamal Murray staggered. I do think that that is going to be the popular rotation for the Nuggets, especially without Gordon and Brown. I think they'll try to get by with minutes with Jokic, where they'll play as many minutes with Murray as possible. But for the most part, Jokic is just going to play the entire first and third quarter, and they're going to have to survive in that time. And then beginning of the second and fourth, that's when Jamal Murray, that's when Cam Johnson really going to have to figure some things out. And I'm curious to see what they do with it, man. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle themselves. But look, overall, if this is a good representation, this game, if it is a good representation of how they handle themselves, yeah, the defense wasn't as good as it could be, but the offense was really good. Offense really made some plays. Peyton Watson stepped up in those minutes, pairing really nicely with Nikola Jokic. Maybe he gives them that 15 to 17 points per game in the stead of Christian Braun that Christian Braun was providing last year. So lots of good things to be excited about as a Nuggets fan. 13-4. Let me say that again. The Nuggets, despite the fact that they've had some pretty bad losses, are 13-4. Good way to categorize it, I think. And I hope Nuggets fans fully appreciate and understand what that means, because Denver at this point has done exactly what you would hope for them to do. Yeah, they've had a couple of missteps here or there. Yes, there are some things that they definitely need to improve on with the bench. But overall, man, I really like what I've seen. I think that there's some things that they can get better at. But I'm not going to be nitpicky, especially while they're down a couple of guys. Right now, this is survival mode. This is the opportunity where it would be nice to win all these games by 30. But if you're only winning them by 10, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. So we'll see what happens. But for now, folks, that is going to do it for this episode of Locked On Nuggets. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Appreciate the love and support on the podcast. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out. Leave a 5-star review. Thanks for being an everydayer on the show. Matt will be with you tomorrow night. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode, or today's episode of Locked On Nuggets.